the WWE Network will be featuring another 2-hour extravaganza from NXT this coming Thursday. NXT Takeover 2. Welcome back, everyone. This is Jason. Yeah, I'm very excited about this bill coming up this week. Yeah, this is the third one that they've done. They did Arrival, Takeover, and now Takeover 2. I was kind of wondering why they named it Takeover 2, but I have a feeling I know why, but I'll get to that later. Top to bottom, this bill is pretty good. There's a couple matches on here that aren't, that I'm real excited about, but top to bottom, it is pretty good. I'm going to go from what I feel is like the least important to the most important. So first of all, we've got Bull Dempsey against Mojo Rawley. Now, these two have been kind of snapping at each other lately, building up a rivalry. They even tagged for a match or two unsuccessfully, which just fueled their rivalry even more. Mojo Rawley's been having some squash matches, nothing really to write home about. I like his charisma. I like his attitude. He's not boring to watch by any means. He tries to connect with the crowd, and he's running around the ring, and he's hyped. That's his thing. Stay hyped, get hyped. You're hyped. I'm hyped. We're all hyped. Whatever. So yeah, he's a fun guy to watch. He's growing on me. He's growing on me a little bit. But the guy he's facing, Bull Dempsey, he's called, what's he called? The last of the throwbacks? Something to that effect. Or last of a dying breed. He's been compared to Stone Cold Steve Austin, among others, other classic brawlers. I don't know, when I first saw him, I was like, all right, he's certainly not one of your, what do you say, pretty boys. he's no John Cena. He's no Randy Orton. He's got the long, straggly hair. He's got the beard. His physique is something to nothing to brag about. He wears the black stuff to the ring. Very plain, but for what he lacks, when you look at him coming to the ring or on the mic, I think he makes up for in the ring. He's a tough guy. Not thrilled with this guy, but putting these two together in a rivalry, you've got the badass Bull Dempsey, and then you've got the super hyped Mojo Rawley. So I think this is going to be an okay match. I think as fun as Mojo Rawley is to watch, I really think Bull Dempsey is going to come out on top of this one. Next, bada boom. Oh, I screwed it up. Bada bing, bada boom. Realest guys in the room. Enzo Amore versus Sylvester Lafont. Yeah, these guys. This is like a grudge match of sorts. It's it's a hair versus hair match. If you have the chance, if you missed the last NXT episode, please watch it. About halfway through the episode, there's a little skit where Enzo Amore and Big Cass go in the shop and they're talking to their hair hair specialist lady that does hair, Carmella. She's going to get them the secret weapon, the hair removal stuff. And the skit they did in the hair shop was just absolutely hilarious. And this is pretty comical. If you've been following these guys, you know that Enzo Amore had a broken leg and he was gone for quite a while, like almost a half a year, I think, if not more. I think he broke his leg last fall and came back this summer. I think that's about the time frame it was. Um, Now he's finally back and building some steam. They were in the tag tournaments to see, who would face the Ascension. Well, because of the Legionnaires, the two French guys, Marcus Louis, I think his name is, and Sylvester Lafort, uh, they cost Big Cass and Enzo Amore a chance at the tag titles. So these guys, they're going back and forth, and Enzo got part of his beard shaved off. Well, he's always doing crazy stuff with his hair. So it'll be interesting to see if Enzo, loses his mohawk, or what happens, or Sylvester Lafort loses his long locks, or maybe nothing will happen. You've seen that too. You get the big stipulation, and then nothing really happens. But we'll see. Nonetheless, seeing these guys come down to the ring, they both sides of this have a lot of charisma. It's going to be a fun match. I think Enzo Amore is going to come out on top of this one. Next, we've got the NXT Women's Championship match between the women's champ Charlotte, Ric Flair's daughter, and Bayley. If you watched the last special that they had, the first Takeover special, you'll see that Charlotte had, I call it a 4-star or 5-star match with Natalya for the women's championship, because Paige had both championships. She had the Divas Championship and the women's NXT Women's Championship, and they wouldn't let her have both. So they stripped her of it and then had a tournament to see who would become it. Well, Charlotte's been a good champ, and she really hasn't been champ that long. So, looking at this from just looking at the rivalry in NXT and nothing outside, I would say Charlotte's definitely going to win this one. But there has been some rumors and stuff that Ric Flair is coming back to the main roster soon. And he'll be coming with his daughter, Charlotte. I'll tell you what, as far as Ric Flair goes, if I could sidetrack from this for a second, I'd say Ric Flair coming back to the main roster as a manager or whatever is fine. I'm all for that. I know some people don't like Ric Flair. I've been on the fence with him before. As long as he's cleaned up now, I'm proud of him. That's great. I would rather have him back up his daughter, Charlotte Flair, and help, get her noticed as far as, someone from the next generation to carry that name, than to have Flair come down to the ring with someone like The Miz. I thought that was horrible. There's been a couple different things I think they've been playing around with, trying to figure out where to put them. And I honestly thought for about a half a second that they were going to put him with Dolph Ziggler. There's a lot of people over the course of the last year or two that have said, bring back Flair, put him with Ziggler. It's almost like you can almost look at the charisma of Dolph Ziggler and, compare him to Flair, in some ways. It's not, obviously some people are going to disagree with me about that but nonetheless, putting those two together would have been ideal in my opinion. But it looks like Flair will be coming with his daughter Charlotte when she comes to the main roster, which means she's probably going to be losing the NXT Women's Championship to Bayley. So for that reason only, I'm going to pick Bayley to win the belt. I like Bayley. Bayley's an interesting woman's wrestler. She's got that timid character. She wants to hug everyone. The latest thing that the crowd has been doing, in getting behind her is they'll tell whoever is opposing her in the ring, Bayley's gonna hug you, which is funny because it sounds just like what they would say to Samoa Joe in TNA, saying Joe's gonna kill you. So that's funny because it's like, well, Bayley's not gonna kill you; she's gonna hug you to death. But I like Bayley as a wrestler. She's cute. She's a good wrestler. I think she'll be a good NXT Women's Champion, which would obviously propel, barring any injuries or anything, it would propel Charlotte to go to the main roster. So we'll see how that goes with Ric Flair. So yeah, Bayley's going to win it, looks like. Next, we've got the NXT Tag Team Championship match between the champs, the Ascension, and the winner of the tag team tournament, Sin Cara and Kalisto. I've been watching. First of all, I'll talk about the winners of the tournament, Sin Cara and Kalisto, and then I'll talk a little bit about the Ascension, the champs. Sin Cara has been teaming with Kalisto now for a while. I've also heard some rumblings recently that, Kalisto was having matches with Sami Callihan, aka Solomon Crow. They were having matches against each other, then they were tagging together. Well, those two do have a lot of chemistry. They've had matches together in Dragon Gate USA. I have not seen them, but I would love to see them somewhere in the future. Yeah, or in the future on NXT. Do I think putting Sin Cara with Kalisto is a better fit? Absolutely. And honestly, with all the turmoil and losing guys like Alberto Del Rio, and next it looks like we're losing Rey Mysterio, WWE needs to solidify that. I'm trying to sound racist here. That the next Rey Mysterio or the next Eddie Guerrero, they need that Latin or Mexican, Latin, whatever, wrestler to carry that on, for the fans' sake. The kids love that stuff. It's very entertaining, and to put Kalisto with Sin Cara, I think is honestly the best thing they can do right now. Sin Cara got a really bad rap over the course of the last couple of years. He was injured all the time. And I'm talking about the original Sin Cara. And, what they did, they had a lot invested with the character himself, Sin Cara, when they, basically let the other one go. I don't know if they fired him or let him out of his contract or whatever. Send him back down, packing down to Mexico. They took Hunico. Remember Hunico and Camacho? Well, they let Camacho go a few months back. And then they took Hunico and put him in the Sin Cara outfit. So, and if you've noticed, there is a night and day difference between how Sin Cara wrestled and how Hunico wrestled as Sin Cara. I think going forward, I think they did, as much as I liked Hunico and I wanted him to stay with his, the wife beater and the khakis and his badass persona, kind of Latin gangster or whatever, making him Sin Cara, I think is definitely a step in the right direction with that, very positive thing. And now you're taking a gentleman by the name of Kalisto, who looks like he's got the potential to become the next Rey Mysterio, with the Lucha Libre style wrestling. Putting these two together, I think is a great idea. As much as it seems like, Sin Cara going back to NXT from the main roster is a negative thing, I think they had to put him with someone to build him back up positively. Most guys you see go from the main roster back to NXT would be considered a negative thing. Look at what, now not all of them are negative, but look at like what they did to Brodus Clay. Brodus Clay went back to NXT. A couple months later, boom, he was gone. They've also done that to guys like Justin Gabriel. Justin Gabriel spent a few months here and there on NXT. He's been teaming recently. Well, not teaming. Well, he teamed like once or twice with Tyson Kidd. Tyson Kidd, who I'm getting to in a little bit, is in the championship match. But yeah, stuff like that, you can say, oh, well, that's a really negative thing. Well, yeah, it's a negative, but it's also a positive because they're working with that next generation of kids, trying to, get them ready to come to the main roster. And, a move like that, I think, is smart. As much as it seems like a step backwards, you're helping that next crop of kids. And there's nothing more positive than that. So, all in all, putting Sin Cara with Kalisto, I think, is great to really build up the Sin Cara character again, along with this new guy, Kalisto. Was very excited to see him, make his debut, get his face out there, get some exposure in the ring, inside and outside the ring, because Kalisto also speaks perfect English. Once again, not to sound racist, but you had a guy like Sin Cara that didn't speak a lick of English. It's hard for a character like that to come across with the audience, to cut promos. Yeah, your work is great in the ring, but if you can't communicate with the public, if you can't communicate with your fans, you can't cut a promo, you can't do an interview. It goes hand in hand nowadays. You got to have a little bit of everything to become a successful WWE superstar, in my opinion. So it looks like Kalisto's got all that, and to put him with Sin Cara is a great match. Now, their opponents, the NXT Tag Team Champions, the Ascension. These guys have been running like crazy through NXT over the course of the last year. For a while, it looked like the Ascension were going to be stuck being NXT Tag Teams champs for forever, really. I mean, when they had some really good teams like the Wyatt family. Those guys, when they went to the main roster, I think it left a real hole. Also, when Oliver Gray, remember for Oliver Gray, the first NXT Tag Team Champion with Adrian Neville. Those guys were great together. When you had to fill some holes and NXT had to kind of take a couple steps back and start building some tag teams again, now they have an absolute ton of tag teams. They went from having like nothing to all of a sudden with this tournament, they have a lot. And tag team wrestling is once again alive and well in NXT, I gotta say. And there's been some rumblings over the course of the last, I'd say, half year or so. When is Ascension going to hit the main roster? They're great together. They're, a great, I don't know, you call them a power duo, I guess. I like the original Ascension better with Connor and, who is now Brahm in TNA was Kenneth Cameron, I think was his name. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what his name was in NXT. But yeah, you got Connor with Victor, and these guys are just brutal. It's nice to see some, I guess, for lack of a better word, some old school powerhouses. Kind of reminds me of, obviously they don't wear makeup or masks, but their charisma and their power in the ring kind of reminds me of, an old team like the Powers of Pain or like the Road Warriors or Demolition, Axe and Smash. Those guys working together, a couple powerful guys. This is, so you got the Lucha guys, and then you got the power duo, and I think it's going to make for an interesting tag team championship match. With the tag team division on fire again in NXT, there's finally some decent competition out there. I'm gonna guess that Sin Cara and Kalisto are gonna take the tag team belts away from the Ascension. I think it'll be a good match. It'll be a lot of fun to watch. But Sin Cara and Kalisto, I think, are gonna take the tag team championships at Takeover 2. Last but certainly not least, as far as matches goes, there's a couple other things I'm going to talk about, but the last match, the headliner, is four-way. The first four-way for the NXT championship. You got the champion, Adrian Neville, with going against Sami Zayn, Tyson Kidd, and Tyler Breeze. If you've watched this rivalry build over the course of the last couple months back and forth, because Adrian Neville beat He beat Sami Zayn, I think, at the last NXT pay-per-view, I guess you could call it pay-per-view, whatever. Takeover, the first one, to find out who's going to be the number one contender. Well, Sami Zayn got it anyways, and Tyson Kidd's been feuding with, all of them here and there over the course of the last couple months. And now William Regal is general manager, and they put this all together recently. And I think, not to stray too much, but I think William Regal's going to be a great GM. I've had nothing but respect for him. I didn't really appreciate him much when he was a heel, over the course of the last 10 years in the WWE. I really didn't appreciate him much. But his work with the younger crop of guys that he's worked with, guys like Dean Ambrose down in Florida Championship Wrestling, also worked with guys like, who did he work with? He worked with Chris Hero. I cannot remember his NXT name. Well, whatever. Worked with Chris Hero. He's worked with a handful of guys, between Florida Championship Wrestling and NXT. He's done nothing but good, helping that next bunch of guys. My favorite, though, out of all those is his work with Dean Ambrose, though. That was great. Good. Do yourself a favor, go look up those old matches between William Regal and Dean Ambrose. Sorry, I was straying. Back at focus. Back on course. All right, the four-way. Tyson Kidd, Tyler Breeze, Sami Zayn, and Adrian Neville. Man, this is... I'm going to throw a prediction out there, and, knowing the guys that are in this match and what they've done over the course of the last year and whatever rivalry they've had, I think this match has potential to be, I'd say, definitely top 5 matches of the year in all of WWE, possibly all of wrestling. I think this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And a big question, who's going to come out on top of this one? This one's tough. Well, I'd say you got 3 options. And I don't think Tyson Kidd is one of those options. As good as he is working with these guys, and helping them out and help putting them over, per se, I don't think Tyson Kidd really has a chance. I give him props, though. He's been doing great. Ever since he came back from his injury, he's been doing really good. So I'll give him credit for that, definitely. Feel a little bad for him because now they're just calling him, Natalia's husband, or boy toy, or whatever you're calling him. Poor guy. So between Tyler Breeze and Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville, I don't think Adrian Neville is going to keep it. I honestly don't. He's a phenomenal champ, really good, but I don't think he's going to keep it. I could be wrong. So then it's got to come down, in my opinion, it's got to come down to Tyler Breeze or Sami Zayn, and that's where it gets really difficult for me. Trying to pick one of these guys. They're both great lately. Oh my God. You know what? I'm probably wrong on this, but I'm going to pick Sami Zayn is going to be the next NXT champ. Yeah, that's a tough one. Hey, Neville could keep it, but I don't think he's going to. Now, if Adrian Neville loses a championship, does that mean that he's going to follow in like Bo Dallas's shoes and then go to the main roster immediately? I don't know. I really don't. I would love to see him on the main roster, but I don't know if he's ready. He's still, I'm not saying he's lacking wrestling skills. He's great high flyer, technical in the ring, bouncing off the ropes, everything. Up, down, positive, great wrestler. But I'm not sure he's completely over as far as the promos and interviews and stuff like that goes. I don't know. I think he's got a little work to do. That's not to say that Tyler Breeze is great. Love him or hate him, he's got a ton of talent. Sami Zayn's been having 5-star matches nonstop while he's been in NXT. I don't think he's had a bad match yet. I think it's Sami's time. I would love to see Sami Zayn champ for about a year. Let him go against guys like Kenta, who I'm going to get to in a minute. They just got Steen. They just got Prince Devitt. Man, those guys, think of a championship tournament a year from now. Put Steen, put Devitt, put Sami Zayn, and put Kenta all in the same match. Mind blown. Oh my God. This is a great time to be a fan of NXT, let me tell you, because there's some good stuff coming down the road. I guarantee it. Yeah, for this 4-way, I think Sami Zayn is going to come out on top. Now, what I hinted at earlier, why did they call it Takeover 2? If you've followed the Instagram or seen the pictures floating around on the web of Prince Devitt and Steen together as a tag team, like I said in one of my last videos, doing the symbols with Triple H with the poster in the background, that's a sign. That's a sign. He's putting something big together down in NXT. And now William Regal is general manager. And he's so cunning and he's so sly and he's so fun to watch. It's like, oh my God, what's going on in Regal's head, Now that he's general manager, is he gonna turn into the nasty GM? Is he gonna do something with Adrian Neville, like turn Adrian Neville heel? There's so many things that could happen. Oh my God. We're supposed to see, one of the definite things we're supposed to see is Ric Flair is supposed to introduce Kenta. Now, why Ric Flair is introducing Kenta, I'm not sure. But I'm just going to nod and be like, okay, that's fine. Ric Flair wants to be a part of it, fine, whatever. But, if he's not going to be in his daughter's corner, then okay, sure, fine. Give him something to do. The more I think about it, to have a legend like Ric Flair introduce a brand new guy coming over from Japan is pretty cool. A little awkward, but cool. So it's okay. All right, I'm not jumping up and down about it, but to see Kenta get introduced is cool. So yeah, if they're putting the fast track on Kenta and getting him on TV right away, you got to wonder how far behind him are guys like Steen and Prince Devitt. They could have something big going on. I wouldn't, I'm not going to get myself too psyched up because I don't want to come away from this disappointed like, oh, well, where's Steen and where's Devitt? I don't want to do that. I'm just saying it would be really cool, okay? So we are going to see Kenta get introduced by Ric Flair. Sami Zayn's going to win the 4-way. Sin Cara and Kalisto are going to be the new tag champs. Bayley's going to take the NXT Women's Championship. Enzo Amore is going to be cutting some hair. And Bull Dempsey is going to kick Mojo Rawley's ass. All up and down NXT on Thursday. All right. That's my predictions. Put in the comments below. Are you excited for the show? Like I said, this is a great time to be a fan of NXT. And hey, you can watch NXT on the network for $9.99. And yeah, you're probably gonna get real sick of me doing that, so I'll just not do that too much. All right, just relax. So yeah, those are my predictions. Thanks for watching, guys. Put in the comments below, who do you think is going to be the new champ? If you got predictions, leave them down there. Thanks for watching, guys.